How's it going, Christian? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm pumped. I'm excited to record movies, and honestly, I'm just here having a great time.
You're here having a great, fantastic. Why don't we watch this why don't we read the summary? Do you want to read? You want me to read it?
No, this is for you.
Can I read it?
Yeah, this is for you.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you know what? The very first line. I'm jumping right into it here. This week, we're here to take you on a tour of the Slevin wonders of the world. Procrastinating hasn't whirled out.
Says.
Podcasting hasn't whirled out lately. Wait, I need to understand this sentence better.
Okay. The second one is my problem. There we go. Yep.
Okay. Podcasting.
Yeah.
Let's just take it from the top. Take it from the top.
It's so fucking off. All right. Yeah. From the top.
I'm jumping right into it here. This week, we're here to take you on a tour of the Slevin wonders of the world. Podcasting hasn't worked out lately, so my side gig has been tour guiding. How are we going to get between them so fast? Shut your damn mouth. How about that? Oh. We're coming up on our first stop now. If you look on your left, you'll see the Slevinitsa, a popular destination of those traveling through Central America and are risking stepping outside the safety of the resorts. And now, with a hop, skip, and a jump, we've arrived at our next destination, the Slev Mahal, possibly one of the most iconic structures in the modern era. Fun fact, it took them only 11 years to build it all by himself. And finally, for our religious guests, we complete our pilgrimage today at the statue of Slevin the Redeemer, a monumental 77-foot-tall statue erected in his likeness to serve as a reminder to us all that he is always watching over us. Are you tired of this bit yet? Because I am. I'm going to get to the real summary now. Lucky Number Slevin is a neo-noir crime thriller about a guy who just can't have anyone get his name right. Slevin arrives in New York at his friend Nick's apartment after a series of unfortunate events leaves him without his own place. Not long after settling in, he is abducted by a gang who thinks he is Nick and told that he must murder the son of a rival gang leader or be killed himself. Unable to clear up the misunderstanding, he is released only to be immediately captured by the rival gang and told he owes them money. To top it off, he's also got the cops breathing down his neck, wondering what exactly he's doing there. Stuck in between the hardest rock and place possible, the only person he can confide in is Nick's neighbor, Lindsay, who loves a good mystery. Together, they slowly begin to work out just how they can get Slevin out of this jam and still find time to bang in the process. That's exactly what happens in the movie. That's a fantastic summary. Who wrote that? Props to you. Props to you, summary man. Here's to you, summary reader, summary writer.
Oh, man.
I love a good summary about Slevin.
Oh, man. We haven't made a Real Man of Genius reference in a while. That's awesome.
I always find a way. We always find a way. Christian, I feel like I have to tell you something this evening.
Have you seen this movie before?
I have never seen this movie before.
Oh, okay.
But I was very acquainted with the name. Because I do remember being a child, well, child is relative, being a child and watching the trailers for this movie when I was a wee lad and never made the time to watch it. So I completely forgot that this movie ever existed until I heard the name. And then it was like a fucking light bulb just turned on in the back of my brain that I was like, oh, yeah. Lucky Number Slevin. I remember hearing something about that.
Oh, that's awesome. Now you've come back to it 18 years later.
It mostly comes alongside watching Naruto and a bunch of Apple Jacks commercials. So, that's it. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. I think you made the right call probably by watching the Naruto instead, unless you were in the middle of like No, that's way before.
No,
what am I
not
saying?
even close. No, this would have been Chunin exams.
This is OG. Yeah, this is OG Naruto. What am I saying?
I doubt we were even in fucking Sasuke Retrieval Arc territory. This is probably when I was like young enough to realize that I can like go to YouTube to see the sub, but it's in like dog shit quality and it's broken up in like 20 parts per episode. So I can find like 5-minute bites and I have to like keep skipping to the next part every single time. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
21st century. I'm sorry. Kids born in or north of 2000 won't understand the hassle that we had to go through to watch our anime back in the day, man. They don't get it.
They just don't know. They won't know anymore.
They don't know.
I'm sure
man.
they have some other struggle that we don't know about, though. So,
well, let's not talk about their problems. I don't want to talk about
they're
mine.
about to have TikTok banned in this country, so they're gonna have it real hard soon.
I mean, I've never even been on TikTok, so like that's
right.
That's like
it's
not
our problem.
For me.
It's their problem. Like our problem was the sub thing. Their problem is going to be I can't watch these 10-second videos of women dancing in anime clothing anymore.
Or even better, men dressed in female anime clothing.
Yeah, exactly. See, you get it.
Yeah. No, I do I understand the plight of the modern man. What can I say?
You're really in tune with the youths.
I am in tune with the youths. Go ahead.
I feel like normally at this stage you would probably lead in with your own opinion on the movie, but I'm going to take the reins here.
Please do.
I gotta be honest. When I briefly looked at this movie and
yes,
who was recommended by?
Okay. Well, actually, can you clarify something? So whose recommendation is this?
Was this yours? This is Taco's recommendation.
Got it.
No,
honestly, I was gonna say. This is very on brand with the kind of movies you guys have been watching. So I didn't know if you chose this, if this was a you choice movie to like follow on brand with Taco or not.
No, this is Taco being on brand with Taco.
Okay, perfect. Being on brand with Taco.
Yeah. So, I not to say that I strongly dislike the movies that he's been recommending us between Snatch and Lock, Stock.
Yes.
They're good movies in their own right. They're not, but they're campy. They have a style to them. And so when I heard, I mean, just hearing the name, I was like, oh, is this sounds like a Lock, Stock esque style movie just based off of. I purely judged the book by its cover there. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Then reading a brief summary of it, I was like, oh, okay, like there could be something here that's relatively worthwhile. It's described as like a mystery movie, and I was like, okay. I mean, the other two Guy Ritchie movies are also kind of loosely non-linear mystery things. So
right.
Not a Guy Ritchie movie though. Directed by a guy named Paul McGuigan, and so there's potential for it to not necessarily be that. So I went in with this idea that it might be one of these style movies, and I was pleasantly surprised to have it be both yes and no.
Okay.
It definitely still has that sort of feel of the Guy Ritchie movies.
I totally agree.
That I'd been exposed to several times over now, but it also has this other facet to it, which is mainly the sort of crime drama-esque part of it, where the Guy Ritchie is kind of the non-linear storytelling aspect to it, but then you have the crime noir feature part, and a little bit. The comedy kind of falls on both sides of the spectrum as well there, but I don't really. I didn't really know who to compare it to if I were to not call it a Guy Ritchie film, because I have no idea what else this guy Paul has done.
I did look that up. I don't think you would know any of these other movies other than maybe The Reckoning, which I doubt you've seen.
I have not.
But it does star Willem Dafoe, which is why it's the only reason I would think that you would know it. Or a movie by the name of Push, which I think was the answer from another studio, like movie studio, after the success of Jumper. So I think that's what this is, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it in the Jumper cinematic universe or something?
No. But it was like Jumper did well when it came out, even though they haven't made another one for some fucking reason. It did well, but they didn't make any more, and then another studio was like, well, Jumper is the kind of movie that we need in our
rewatch that movie.
Yeah, it's a good dumb movie.
I remember it being a good movie ish.
It was a decent movie, and so I believe this
sorry, I briefly Googled Jumper. It has a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Holy shit.
A lot of people don't like Jumper, but I remember it being fine. I remember it being a totally fine movie. But anyway, so Push, I believe, was another studio's like, hey, we want Jumper money. So they made Push to be like a Jumper sort of thing, which is like Similarly, it's just about like select people having a superpower of being able to use like telekinesis, I think.
I see.
But so like very similar jumper energy.
Holy shit, it's got Chris Evans and Dakota Fanning in it.
Hell yeah, it does.
Oh shit,
And,
do we have to watch
and
Push?
Lawrence Fishburne. I believe it's Lawrence Fishburne. He was the musclehead, I think.
I'm not seeing Lawrence Fishburne on here.
Fuck, who's the main guy that he fights against in that movie? Hold on.
Jimon Gaston Hanso.
Oh, I would not have guessed that dude's name.
This is a name I would not have known, but he has he has that like that face where you're like, oh yeah, I know that guy. He's that guy. He's been in a lot of the Marvel movies. Shit. What else? What can I even like?
I like how we're talking about Jumper.
I know, we're talking about literally anything
we
besides.
We need to come back.
Lucky Number 11. You're right. But anyway, where I don't even remember where I was. So Lucky Number 11. Watching it, I was pleasantly surprised. Overall, my opinion of this movie is that I really like this. Actually, I think most of my enjoyment out of the movie is mainly the dialogue between Josh Hartnett and literally fucking anybody. You know,
okay.
he's the brand of like witty and sort of like not caring attitude that he takes to every interaction. Like my favorite scene in the movie is his first encounter with the boss, Morgan Freeman's character. I love the interaction of him just back and forth with it, starting with the whole like shmoo thing that Morgan Freeman's character takes on, and then there's the like, oh, well, you owe me money. It's like, oh, what if I gave you $96,000? Would you want $96,000? Yeah, I'd love $96,000. Would you like to pay me? Well, I don't think I would. It's like, should I want to pay you $96,000? Well, if you don't want to die. The whole thing, I was just like, all of this banter back and forth in the scene and subsequently was just a lot of fun for me. I really enjoyed. And then there's
right.
And then there's his chemistry with Lucy Liu. It's fucking Lucy Liu. Come on,
it's fucking Lucy Liu, man. What's not to like?
yeah. What's not to like exactly? But then so their on-screen relationship was a lot of fun too. So most of my enjoyment honestly comes out of the dialogue and a little bit like the cinematography aspect of it too. There's a lot of kind of cool scenes that they do, like with the like zoom outs and punch-ins with the mob bosses too in their respective towers and stuff. So I think a lot of it comes down to sort of the aesthetics of it and then the dialogue between characters, honestly.
Yeah. I did not see this movie before this evening, so this is my first time seeing it. I think I have very similar a similar review. I will say, you know what makes a Guy Ritchie movie feel like a Guy Ritchie movie? It's either visual or like verbal gags that get repeated throughout the film.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is like very Guy Ritchie to me. And this movie, for whatever reason, everyone's eating a sandwich all the fucking time, usually a PB&J. They're always talking about the shamo or whatever the fuck that shit was that you mentioned a second ago. I don't even remember what they were talking about. Every single time they talked about it, I'm like, I have no idea what you're telling me right now. I'm just going to continue on with the conversation. It's just words at this point. They always talk about the same shit. And then, of course, I think like if you're a viewer and you're paying attention to like certain plot elements, it's very easy to like pick up like, okay, yeah, here's like, it tells you like a complete story, not always in a linear fashion. So if you're like an attentive like watcher, you can sort of pick up like, oh, okay, well, this probably relates to that, and that other thing like kind of relates to this back and forth. I think so. First of all, I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a great popcorn flick. I'm here for it. I think I would absolutely rate it above a 5. Whatever IMDb gave it, I think that's a little criminal. I don't think this movie requires.
IMDb has a great rating for it. It's a 7.7.
Oh, it does. Oh, okay, great. Well, then fantastic. For some reason, I thought it was like a 5 out of 10 on IMDb.
No.
I think my biggest criticism of the movie is that like none of the twists really were twists to me.
Yeah.
I think that's probably it.
I think this is a 2006 movie, and in between then and now, and just across my entire movie watching life, none of these twists are new. These are all fairly predictable twists, especially the big one where Slevin is not this just bumbling dude who's down on his luck. He's actually a hitman, and all of this was planned. And then the secondary of which, you know, is the whole reason this is happening, is that he's this dude from the beginning son that didn't actually get killed. Like all of this is fairly predictable, you know.
The only thing I didn't predict was Lucy Liu not dying. I definitely thought that she got for sure.
Wow, we're like so in sync right now, because I totally
so in sync.
I totally thought the same thing. In my notes I wrote, no, not Lindsay. Because I saw that, I was like, you can't possibly be doing this now. And then later, it's she's fine, and Bruce Willis's character understands.
We're sort of jumping into the end. I will say to close up my review too, before we get to all of that good stuff at, like, you know, the tail end and the plot and whatnot. The one other thing that I did not care for in this movie, I know you mentioned cinematography, and I totally agree. Visually, there's like a lot of really cool shots in this. I am not a fan of them dropping the frame rate when they did a fucking flashback.
Oh, fuck,
that shit pissed me off.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about. I completely erased that from my memory because I did not want to remember that at all. Yeah, that was awful.
Every time they wanted to relive a scene in the past that happened to a character, I think the two big ones that come to my mind are the one with Slevin and the one with Lucy Liu. To be fair, and when Bruce Willis is telling his story at the very beginning of the movie, they don't do it then, which thank fucking Christ. Because if they did, I would be livid. They do this like bit where they drop the frame rate to like 20 frames or maybe 15 frames a second when Slevin is first getting up, or like he's describing his day, getting into the apartment or whatever, getting off the airport and getting mugged, and everything happens and it just does not look good. And then Lucy Liu also does it when she's like tailing Bruce Willis or whatever at the hotel or wherever the fuck she was at the time. And I'm like, guys, this was a miss. Don't ever do that again, please.
Yeah, I think it was especially egregious when they're doing the Lucy Liu one. For some reason, the Slevin one at the beginning of the movie didn't really faze me that much. I was like, okay, like fine, whatever. This is a choice they made.
Artistic choice, whatever.
This is a choice they made. But Lucy Liu's, that was literally like watching a slideshow. It was just someone hammering the right arrow key on their computer, and it was just watching a slideshow play out. That was fucking awful.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of those like fucking dog shit 90s PSAs where it's like, you wouldn't download a car. Pirating is stealing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you guys thinking? You gotta stop. Please never do this again. Which is so funny because I say I hate that they drop the frame rate. If you do this in an animated sense, in an animated movie, when they drop frame rates, I think that's fucking hilarious. It looks fucking awesome. I don't know what it is. I think it's just like a matter of like direction probably helps a lot.
Yeah. Well, I think inherently it just doesn't work here. They drop it too much that your brain can't fill in the gaps, because that's usually how animation when it works in animation, is because they drop it to a way that your brain still sort of fills in the gaps even though there are frames missing. This is just like egregiously watching a slideshow. There's no other way to put this.
Yeah. But so that's like my surface level review of this movie. I had a great time. I had a couple of problems with it. You know, I also want to jump right into the beginning of the movie. Shout out to Bruce Willis and still being in good movies that I haven't seen. I didn't think it was possible. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen every good Bruce Willis movie to date. I love that man. He's easily one of my favorite actors. I was very surprised to see that he was in this movie. I don't remember him from a trailer when I was like fucking 10, 12 years old or whatever the fuck I was at that time.
I agree. I am not as well versed in Bruce Willis movies as you are, but I did see that he was in the movie, so I knew. But yeah, I mean, and also this is about as Bruce Willis as it gets. This is a very this is a very Bruce Willis role for Bruce Willis.
Within the first 10 minutes of the movie, he's already snapped a dude's neck.
Yeah, and just the stoic, not really showing emotion character. It's about as standard Bruce Willis as they come for the most part.
And that's what I want. That's what I want.
That's what you want?
Is all I'm asking for. That's all I want. I want my standard Bruce Willis, usual experience. Okay, I don't need him to change what ain't broke. All right. He's Bruce Willis. He does everything fine. Speaking of Bruce Willis, you know who else is in this movie that plays literally the same character they always play? Fucking Morgan Freeman. Well, I guess he's not God in this case, but he's playing a Morgan Freeman adjacent, just like a mean version of him. Yeah. And then also Ben Kingsley, who, to be fair, I don't know if Ben Kingsley is like a one-stop. I feel like he does have a bit of range. But all that to say, all three of these gentlemen who are in this movie, mwah, fantastic. I wouldn't change anything about your characters. Do it again.
Yeah, make it again.
Anytime you do it again, I'm here for it. Yeah, remaster it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Willis, you really could have just slapped any actor in there, and it would have been the same fucking movie. I think, though. That role of being Goodkat is just, it was about as bare bones as it really came. You just had to be badass, but showing no emotion assassin guy. You could have really just slapped anybody in there. Bruce Willis is just the one who answered the call.
Yeah, but that's what I'm here for. I want Bruce Willis to answer the call.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain. I'm just saying.
Now that you're saying that, like, now I'm like running through all of the like stoic, like badasses, like Liam Neeson. He could have played that role.
Yeah, throw fucking make it Taken 17. I don't know.
But Batista could have been there. Who else would have made a good person? I don't think Mr. Statham would have been a good role there. He would have been too annoying. I think he would have done too much. Like, he would have tried to make him more than what what Bruce brought to this performance, because Bruce was very stoic. He was a very like calculating hitman. I feel like if you brought Jason Statham into the mix, he'd like try to give him too much personality, and then he'd lose
too
the
much
role.
Wit.
Yeah, exactly.
Potentially, yeah.
So not everyone can do it. You see, there's a certain kind of individual that can play.
Right? Yeah. There's so much nuance to this.
There's a lot of nuance to playing a character like Goodkat.
Yeah. Okay.
But I did have fun with it regardless.
Yeah. So
also, rip to that guy who got his neck snapped at the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah, the real Nick Fisher, which at a certain point is also like pretty predictable.
Yeah, that was extremely predictable. I feel like that's like my only at the end of the movie. Like, so we're just not going to answer for that. This guy was $100,000 in debt, and we're just going to answer for it by calling him a loser and literally fucking murdering him.
Well, they're all dead. Everyone he owed money to is also dead. What do you mean?
Right, but like, I guess what I'm getting at is this guy was $100,000 in debt. This other young fuck comes around, starts banging the hottie across the hall, basically taking in his dream life that he wanted. And we're just supposed to be like, well, he was $100,000 in debt to the mob, so I don't care about him. Fuck that guy. All I'm saying is, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, you're about the morality of it. Like,
that's what I'm saying, man. What the hell? We're just killing this poor guy who just needed $100,000. Like, what the hell? What if he was like a slave to capitalism or something, dude? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You're right. He does just kind of get picked out of a book by Bruce Willis, and he goes, that guy's dying for the cause.
And you know what they say? They're like, well, why? Why him? And he's like,
a loser.
He's a fucking loser. What the hell? I know he's in debt to the mob, but for fuck's sakes, have some humanity.
Yeah, he's $100,000 in debt to the boss. Like, I can't believe he's made it this far already.
Yeah, it's kind of true. I'm sorry, you were gonna ask me something too before I cut you off.
No, I wasn't gonna ask you anything. I was just gonna lead into sort of the beginning plot points of the movie and detail them a little more, but that was neither here nor there.
Yeah. But so we do get an opening of hearing a backstory where it's like, oh, wow, I wonder how this is going to play into the mix. Which, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, the kid's definitely going to be where the punchline of this backstory
don't get the gunshot in the kid scene, so that's already a red flag.
Yeah, huge red flag. Also, remind me, which scene happened first? Bruce Willis telling the story, or the scene of the mystery hitman stealing or killing the dude or whatever?
Oh, that was the very opening scene is the mystery man shanking two dudes and then throwing a baseball in the bookie's face. That's the very first scene of the movie.
Gotcha. Okay, I just want to triple check for my records here. So we opened that, and then we cut to Bruce Willis telling his story about this kid in a racehorse or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, well, clearly the kid's going to be a thing. And, but I didn't know about this bit going in. I was a little surprised by this. He mentions this is a good example of repetitive auditory gags. He goes into this bit about the Kansas City Shuffle. Yeah. And the dude's like, what's Kansas City Shuffle? And he's like, well, it's when you make somebody look one way and you go another. And he's like, okay, so what about the Kansas City Shuffle? Then Bruce Willis is like, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time.
It all started with a horse.
It all started with a horse. And then you get to the end, we find out, this dude got in debt to the mob because he bet on a horse that was rigged and the horse didn't make it. And then, all hell broke loose. And then Bruce Willis goes like, or rather the guy that Bruce Willis telling the story to is like, okay, so what about the Kansas City Shuffle? He's like, oh, that wasn't the Kansas City Shuffle. This is. And he points over to where the old lady was sleeping. He had already gotten up and then gotten behind him, snaps his fucking neck. Fucking rude. A little rude. Because remember, this is the guy who was only picked out of a hat because he was a quote unquote loser for being in debt to the mob, which is a little fucked.
To both mobs, to be fair.
Listen, it's still a little fucked.
It's definitely very fucked.
Like that's a little unfortunate for my poor man's here. Like he literally did nothing, but well, I guess there's a lot that could have.
Well, I mean, who knows what he was doing with the money or what he was doing to try and get the money. Yeah. But like, as far as we understand, he was like a decent guy. He just fucked up and borrowed money from the wrong people.
But he was a loser, so it's okay. We hate losers here. And then we cut to pretty much right after that. Bruce Willis, puts him in a wheelchair and then he starts, pulling him along. And we just cut straight to Slevin. And Slevin's living the good life. He's coming off a plane. He lost his job, lost his girl. This is a great start to our hero's journey here. So he comes off a plane, he lost his job, lost his girl, got mugged, and now he's just shacking it up in his quote unquote best friend's apartment. Quote unquote, before Lucy Liu of all people comes in to say like, hey, can I borrow a cup of sugar? Hey, you're not Nick. What are you doing here? And Slevin's like, I'm here hanging out. I'm here. I'm one of Nick's friends, And then she's like, a likely story. I think Nick died.
It really is that quickly too.
I feel like this is one of the funniest parts of the movie. As soon as Slevin and Lucy Liu meet, she's already beelined it to the idea that something is like
something's horribly wrong with Nick.
Yeah, something horrible must have happened because like this doesn't track. And then Slevin's like, what are you talking about? Like he's probably just like at work or he lost his like way or something like that. And then Lucy Liu's like, no, I don't buy it. That can't be right. I bet he's dead.
That doesn't sound like the Nick I know. He's probably in a ditch. I know.
And so they do this like back and forth for a minute where they're like, well, we need to investigate what happened to Nick. And then Slevin's like, I don't think we do. I think we're fine.
He's like really trying to get this chick off his back now.
Yeah. when you understand like what happens later, like you realize that like really he just wanted her to fucking stop prying at the wound. But in the moment you're just kind of like this fucking crazy chick is like freaking out over a dude that's been gone for 2 hours or whatever. Good gags. She leaves, comes back, sees the dick, and then goes like, and then Slevin's like, well, unfortunate. Sorry about that. And she's like, okay. Leaves again. Comes back to double check that it's not there again. Yeah. What a great dumb bit.
So funny. So funny.
I had a good time. And then fucking Slevin's snapback was like, or she was like, I wanted to see if there was another showing. And the dude or Slevin was like, I don't go back on until 8. And then she's like, okay.
All right. Good to know. I learned a brief fun fact too, because doing some basic research on the movie, that apparently while the scene was scripted to happen that way, Josh Hartnett, Slevin's actor, did actually flash Lucy Liu in that scene without telling her. Like,
yeah, without the thing, huh?
Yeah, or like a warning or however it works out. I from what I understand, was supposed to happen that way, but he maybe was supposed to be wearing a dancer's belt or something. I don't know, but yeah, she apparently that laughed it off so her reaction, and they used that cut, so the reaction is genuine when she's actually seeing Josh Hartnett's dick there.
Well, yeah, you hate to see it. Well, I mean, I as long as everyone's okay. I mean, good credit to people who are mature and are able to handle that, but that's a little yikes. Not gonna lie, that could be assault. Literally flashing somebody in the workplace. Although it's a fine line when your work happens to be pretending to flash people. I guess I can't speak to that entirely, but I'm glad that everyone had a laugh.
If it makes you feel even a little better, at the time, she also claimed that Lucky Number Slevin was her favorite movie to have ever filmed. So
fantastic.
Maybe that kind of cures the wound a little bit here.
I just don't want this to become a habit for filmmaking in general. This is not an invitation for everyone to be flashing your to be flashing your seconds. Is all I'm saying, or your counter leads or whatever. But I'm glad that it all worked out for Slevin and Lucy Liu here. They did have really good chemistry. I don't feel like we could say that enough. They had
it was so much fun.
They had a lot of fun in these roles. At least I hope they did. I assume they did because it definitely was demonstrated on screen. That being said, what was I going to take us next? Oh yeah, what happens? Don't they get like kidnapped here? This is when Slevin gets kidnapped, right? Essentially, this is where we're brought into the fold.
Yes, yeah. She leaves after the second attempt at seeing his dick, and then you hear a knock on the door again, and he's like, "Oh, it's not 8 o'clock yet." And then, two of Boss's goons roll through, and they start trying to take him in. And this is your first introduction, really, to just how nonchalant Slevin is in the face of peril. And it is immediately like, okay, well, this is a little weird. Like I get the part where he got mugged earlier today, but this is kind of different. This is people barging into a home that you're staying at and threatening to kidnap you, and you're just like, you're giving him some lip here and trying to stand up, and he's like, whatever, it's a Tuesday. This happens all the time.
Club's going up on a Tuesday, am I right?
Yep. So yeah, this is the beginning, but I had no problem with it. Like, when you look back on it, you obviously, this is your first clue of like, oh, he's a hitman. He has no fear here. He could knock these dudes out and with a pinky if he felt like it. So yeah. But at the time, you just take him as this witty, sort of nonchalant, gives people back talk all the time guy, and it's fun, especially with this Tweedledee and Tweedledum characters that come and kidnap him in the first place too.
How about that dude with the teeth, man? What was going on with him?
So I don't understand that. Yeah, well, I think his name was Slow or something to that effect.
Slow, yeah.
I don't know what that was. That was just like a visual gag for the sake of it, I guess. I don't know.
Wasn't the other guy's name Elvis? Was that what it was?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Yeah,
I don't know why I remember
Elvis and Slow. I like how you said, "Why do you?" I was the one that remembered that. What the hell?
Well, I mean, yeah, but I remember Slow. You remember Elvis, and we collectively remember both. And I'm like, why do I remember these nobody character names?
We each have a brain cell that remembers one fucking goon.
Yeah, and we fusion danced him together. Yeah,
fusion dance. Yeah, so these two fucking fuckheads take him up to Morgan Freeman, and then Morgan Freeman gives him the down low. He's like, "Listen, you owe me 97 grand." Well, actually, he never even really says that. He's like, "I want to see you," and then Slevin's like, "Okay, do you know why you're here, Slevin?" And Slevin's like, "No."
Well, this is the implication of the scene I was mentioning earlier with the whole $96,000 gag.
Yeah. So essentially, it gets to a point where Morgan Freeman's like, "Well, I think you're who I want. What if, in fact, I know that you're the guy that I want." And Slevin's like, "I don't think I'm the guy that you want." And he's like, "What if I want to give you $95,000? Then he's like, "Maybe I am the guy you want. I could be the guy you want if you want to give me $95,000. And then Morgan Freeman's like, "But what if I want you to give me $95,000? And then he's like,
"Well,
I think I'm back to not being the guy you want." So they do this whole fucking runaround. Essentially, Morgan Freeman goes like, "I am $95,000 in debt."
96.
Sorry, $96,000 in debt by you. And now I want you to be my hitman because that's how math works.
That's for some reason a fair trade here.
That is a fair. I mean, to be fair, like I don't have $100,000. I can just like give to somebody like outright. So I don't know what I would do. I guess I'd take out a loan. But then I would just be in debt from the mob and now be in debt to capitalism again.
Yeah, and honestly, that might be worse.
It might be worse. You never know. So yeah, I guess the price of becoming a hitman is exactly $96,000. Although I'm willing to call it 90 because at one point.
Another gag
Morgan Freeman was like, okay, so what if you don't have $96,000? Then Slevin's like, I might be a tad short. I don't know if I'll be able to find that kind of scratch in time. And then Morgan Freeman's like, all right, fine. Then what if we call it a nice even 90? And then Slevin's like, I might have oversold how short I am.
I might have over exaggerated the tad part.
I might have exaggerated the tad. So now I would say that becoming a hitman is exactly a $90,000 price tag. Woohoo! Yeah. Good for you, and a gay one at that. Good for you, Slevin. That's how you be inclusive in society.
It was only gay later. So it was not gay yet. It was 90,000, and then first it was he got to let go to decide on whether or not he really wanted to do this, which was like I'm not waiting. What decision is there to make?
Yeah, what
is there to think over? He comes back
or
the next
do what
day.
He says.
Yeah, he comes back the next day and he goes, Morgan Freeman goes, oh, I see you have common sense. And Slevin's like, there's no sense to be had. The options are do it or die. I didn't have a choice. There's no common sense here. I just had to do it. Like, why wait the 24 hours? Just say yes on the spot. I
mean, essentially, you should just say yes on the spot. But, I mean, I'm glad that he got him, gave him 24 hours to think it over. And more importantly, gave him time to get ransacked by the rabbi. In the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
And that is our secondary antagonist in this film, the rabbi, who is the other gang leader, who also kidnapped Slevin. And I don't remember, what did the rabbi want from Slevin? Was it just the 33 grand? That's all he wanted, right?
This was about the money again, but he didn't have, there was no alternative there was no go kill somebody for me. It was just, I want my 33 grand.
I want my 33 grand. Right. Okay. Well, also, how did Slevin come up with 33 grand by the time that he came up to the rabbi? I mean, I know the answer, but where would he have, quote unquote, if he wasn't a hitman, come up with 33 grand? I don't know.
Oh, that's not the rabbi's problem.
Well, no, but I guess as I'm watching the movie, because I know he's a hitman, right? As I'm watching the movie, and if I didn't believe he was a hitman, at no point did he have a game plan for coming up with 33 grand to pay off the rabbi. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, clearly the only reason that the rabbi's involved in all this is because you're the hitman and you wanted to get these two together somehow. I get it. I don't know why yet, but I get that you want these two together at some point. And then I didn't know what Bruce Willis's shit was at this point in time. He was just kind of there being Bruce Willis for some reason.
Yeah, he was there playing both sides because he felt like it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The original end result after we get done getting harassed by the rabbi with his sawed-off shotgun for whatever reason, is at one point when we're going over the game plan between Slevin and
I want to rewind to that scene where I don't really, I think it was just to fuck with the rabbi, or maybe in a more context sense to make sure the rabbi is who he thought he was. But I don't initially I didn't understand the scene of why he goes back and goes you know what didn't happen to me when I came in? Nobody frisked me. That scene didn't make sense to me at first. The only way it makes sense to me a little bit is two ways. One, he just wanted to fuck with the rabbi, or two, he wanted him to pull out the shotgun because he had the shotgun in the flashback originally. When we're watching Max, the horse race guy, get killed, there's a guy that passes across your screen who has a shotgun, and I guess at some point in the bonding time between Goodkat and Slevin, he told Slevin about this shotgun the rabbi loves so much. I don't know, but so I don't know if that was him double checking the rabbi was the guy or not, but there's next to no reason that Slevin does this. But I did love after he turns around from that talking that second time, he goes to maybe turn around again and say something, but he goes, forget it. Just turns back and is what is happening? I love the little like head fake he does on the two other Jewish guys that are standing there, and I'm like, what is going on?
I want to believe that was like an unscripted, like, no, I've still got more to say. And then he was like, you know what? It's not worth it.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great.
If he was just like, I wanted to say one more thing. And then like, I said, fuck it. I'm not dealing with this shit again.
Yeah, never mind.
I am taking this on. I guess maybe it might have something to do with like, well, no, because he just like killed everybody. Do you think it might have been the bit when he came in at the end with like a thing in the back of his hand and he like beat him over the head with? Like he was like making a note like, hey, they didn't frisk me here. And then like, so he brought a weapon with him and knew that he was going to get away with it.
Oh, I mean, maybe.
I mean, but he could have also just like killed everybody and then he could do whatever he wants regardless of frisking.
He definitely killed everybody because they talk about how Sal wasn't answering the phone or turning it off because it's the Sabbath and he would at least turn the ringer off. But then he goes, Sal's dead. And then he beats him over the head with the whatever that thing was. So yeah, everyone is definitely actually dead. It didn't even matter at that point that he wasn't frisked.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Maybe that's like the only line I can find, to be perfectly honest. But, but after we talk with the rabbi, we go back to so Lucy Lou's been made aware of everything that's happened now. And then she's like, wow, I think Nick fucking set you up. I think he wants you to take the fall for all of his fucking money. And then I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Conspiracy theories again. I do like the idea that this like no named character was just like setting poor Slevin up for no fucking reason. And then the audience is just like, wow, Slevin, you're just really fucking unlucky, I guess.
Yeah. Or
is that the bit that they're trying to like drive into the audience, is that he's just an unlucky guy?
I think so. Yeah. I think that they're really just trying to hammer into you that his friend Nick is a piece of shit and that Slevin is also just really unlucky a lot of the time. And maybe has even been so unlucky that he is just so nonchalant in the face of it every time, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's that's their justification for it outside of the. But then they gave you this thing which I thought was cool. This was like a today I learned moment where he mentions that he has this condition called ataraxia. I was like, oh, that's what? Where you just have this extreme level of like calmness and being untroubled even emotionally. So he just explains his behavior away that way. And I was like, is that like a thing? And I Googled it and it's apparently a thing. Like this is real. I think it originates from like Greek philosophy and warriors, literally like Epicurean style. And it's just, I mean, it's exactly what he said, where it's just this state of being in untroubled or mental, emotional disquiet. And so I was like, interesting. So they try to give you that morsel as to why up to this point he has been so unfazed by being in the face of two different gangs and being told he's going to die basically if he doesn't do these things for them. So can I tell you or be honest with you about something? Go on. In that scene that you're describing, did you think he said anorexia? I 100% thought he said anorexia. I was like, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I'm gonna roll with it, my man. I also thought he said anorexia, and so I rewound the scene by a couple of seconds and turned on subtitles, and then I realized he said ataraxia. Although apparently, and I saw this in IMDb trivia or fun facts or whatever, that a lot of especially auto-generated captions still put it as anorexia and not ataraxia. so I thought that was really funny. But I happen to have captions that didn't. I feel vindicated. That sounds good. You should. You absolutely should, because a lot of things. And also, this is a weird niche thing that helped me also recognize that it would be a different word. You're probably gonna hate this. There was a Smite pro player whose name was Ataraxia. Boy. His name was Ataraxia, spelled the exact same way. And so when I saw that, I was like, well, wait a second. What's going on here? Did this kid name himself after this condition? Or did he just think he thought of a cool word and named himself that? It happens to be a thing. Brendan, not only did he name himself after the condition, he named it specifically because he had heard of it in Lucky Number Slevin. In the trivia
Wow.
section of his like wiki page for Smite Esports, it states that he named himself Anorexia because Lucky Number Slevin is like his favorite movie.
That is so fucking funny, dude.
I was like, what a weird through line. What a small world coincidence thing to have happen. Insane. I sent it to Justin too. He didn't get, I'm not sure he got as much of a kick out of it as I did, probably because he didn't watch the movie, but I was like,
he probably didn't watch the movie.
This is awesome. This is so funny.
Wow, what an incredible through line.
I know. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't wait to come here and tell you this. Because I know you hate when we bring up Smite stuff. It hasn't had to happen in a long time, but
honestly, I feel like it's good in small doses. That's a good bit. That's a good fun fact. Also, I feel more strongly about it when it's like, oh, let me put this reference in terms of Smite lingo, and I'm just like, okay, can you not? I don't need everything Smite-ified is all I'm asking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got Lucy Lou's completely made aware of everything. She even gets more dirt because she works at a morgue. Of course she does. And also figures out about Bruce Willis's character at some point and tails him. Meanwhile, in all this, Slevin's like, all right, I'm gonna kill this guy. I'm gonna kill the son of the rabbi for you, Mr. Morgan Freeman. And Morgan Freeman's like, fantastic. Do you want to play me in chess? And he's like, okay, I guess we can play chess, whatever. Loses in chess, moves on with his fucking life. Oh, well, before he moves on, they start going over like, okay, so how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna kill this guy? And then Morgan Freeman's like, well, I think you should take the back door. The
fucking
part
great wording.
what an incredible line. The part that the audience has been made aware of that makes that line clever and funny is that the son of the rabbi is homosexual. He's also known as the fairy, which is a little yikes. I'm not going to lie.
2006.
Very 2006. They call him the fairy. He's homosexual. And Morgan Freeman's idea of getting into this guy's good graces is by sleeping with him. And Slevin's like, I mean, that's not my first choice, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. I gotta do what I gotta do. So he's like, all right, sounds like a plan. I'm gonna sleep with this guy and then I'm gonna kill him. Also, during this scene, it plays out the same interaction that Morgan Freeman had with Bruce Willis. So for whatever reason, at this point, we're starting to like piece together as the audience, like Bruce Willis is the true hitman for this, and Morgan Freeman is being told by Bruce Willis's character to include this fucking Slevin kid. And Bruce Willis is like, well, once he kills the rabbi's son, then I'll go in behind him, kill him. It'll look like a double, like, oh, we came out to each other, like double suicide sort of deal. And then Morgan Freeman's like, I like the idea. Because what he really wanted to buy out of Bruce Willis's character is a very clean and quiet hit. Like, he doesn't want anything to be known. And this is, I suppose, what Bruce Willis came up with. He was like, all right, well, if we include this fucking kid and make him do it, and then I'll kill him, we'll just wipe our hands clean of it. Everything will be great. Which in my mind is like, yeah, I guess that works. That does work.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I think when you're trying to convince Morgan Freeman's character, who wants this to not look like a hit, that this is the idea, yeah, sure. It definitely it fits the bill for something that doesn't look like a hit. If you look a little too closely, it probably doesn't. But that's not the point of the movie here. Show your fucking pie hole.
That's all I'm saying. So we cut to Slevin and Lucy Liu. They go on a date. They have a great date. They also see the gay guy at the restaurant because Slevin's like, who comes here a lot? And then Lucy Liu's like, fucking who? And he's like, the guy I was supposed to fucking kill.
Guy.
the guy I'm trying to kill. And then Lucy Liu's like, what do you mean the guy you're trying? We're here right now with the guy you're trying to kill. And he's like, well, yeah, I gotta do like recon or whatever. So he hooks up with he goes to the bathroom with the gay guy, slides in them DMs, gets an invite to go to his place at another day and time. During this, we get the third antagonist in the plot of the police officer guys. So there's also some police officers that are like trying to keep tabs on both mob guys. And there's like There's like police guy C who is, for whatever reason, he's like really invested in what Slevin's doing, because he's like going between both crime bosses. And he's like, well, who are you? Like, where do you come from? Like, what's your deal? Blah, blah, blah. In my mind, I thought that meant that this Slevin kid was going to end up being the Mr. Goodkat or whatever the fuck they were talking about, because they were getting all up in arms over, oh, there's this new hitman in town. His name's Mr. Goodkat. Like, everyone's fucking freaking out over him. And I'm like, oh, that's got to be Slevin for sure. 100%. Slevin's the hitman. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. That ended up not being the case, but I thought for sure that I was going to find the line there.
No, I think for sure that I thought that Bruce Willis's character was Goodkat the entire time.
This was the point where I was like, okay, so Slevin is this Goodkat guy, and then Bruce Willis is just Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis is his hired hand.
Yeah, or something like that. Regardless, he's like, yo, what are you doing here? And then Slevin's like, I'm just here to have some food and potentially take a girl to bed later. Can you like not? And he's like, okay, fair. Moving on. I don't remember what happens at this point. I just know some nonsense. He talks to the police guy again for a split second. He does hook up with Lucy Liu, and then we get to the murder. Murder happens, and we finally, get rid of the.
Well, we have the scene first. There's the bathroom scene with the cops. Then Slevin gets to go home with Lucy Liu, and they sleep together. But then the next morning he goes out for coffee. And when he goes out for coffee is when we get this extra scene of him getting kidnapped by the police guy, who is Stanley Tucci, by the way. And
Stanley Tucci. Yeah.
And his other two goons, which also, side note, I learned that by looking at the IMDb page that they're two of their names are really stupid. They do like a real three, but like rule of threes thing here, where Stanley Tucci's character is Brikowski. The other skinny police officer's name is Dombrowski.
Oh my god!
And then the third one, who we see walk in like serviceman clothes, his name is Marty.
Okay, I like that though. I like that.
So. I think that all of their names collectively are said like once each, except for Tucci's character. I think you get a couple at the end when he's talking to that other police guy and you're getting the real backstory. So,
right. Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was like, that made me laugh out loud when I was just reading the credits, Brikowski, Dombrowski, and Marty. But anyway, so there's this scene of all three of them in the back of that thing, or two of them in the back of that van. They're interrogating Slevin again. They're like, "Who the fuck are you? We ran your face and everything, and we have no idea who the fuck you are." And he finally tells them his name, Slevin, and I forget exactly Claver. I don't remember. It was. His name. We learn later that the fake last name Slevin has is this Hebrew for bad dog. As a counter to Goodkat, so which was neat. You can't be serious,
brother! I had no idea.
Oh my god!
That's brilliant.
My god! I thought I was in the graces of a good movie watcher. I thought we were on the same page here with everything, man. Are you telling me you really didn't get the bad dog line of all things?
I heard him say it was Hebrew for bad dog. I thought that he just picked a Hebrew name because he wanted to kill a rabbi. I didn't realize it was the opposite of Goodkat.
Oh my god!
Wow. That's pretty good. I
thought I was with active watcher Brendan, not smooth brain Devin. What's happening?
You're always with smooth brain. You're always with smooth brain, man. Listen, I picked all of the plot lines from the Get at the beginning of the movie. Don't get me wrong, but okay,
yeah, and then you missed the like in your face yin and yang reference.
Listen, man, what do you want from me? What do you want?
It was the end of the movie. You had checked out. He was about to kill the guy, and the movie was going to end. Whatever. Sure.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Fuck. I don't even remember. Right. So they're in the back of the seat, the fucking van. Slevin gives him the fake name so it can be a thing later during that other scene. And then he gets let go, and then we finally come back to murder. Yeah. So we have he goes. Actually, he wasn't even supposed to be doing it that day, But for some reason, and I don't know that I was ever really clear on it, the boss, Morgan Freeman, decides that Slevin has to do it that day now instead, because he had 3 days, but this was like literally the next day. So for whatever reason, we've decided that it needs to happen now. And so Slevin's like, I don't know, okay, sure.
I guess whatever.
I guess whatever. And it works out perfectly. You know, it works out exactly how they wanted to, where he gets let into the home. He's got the silenced pistol, which I think he just had that. I think that was just Slevin's pistol. I don't think the boss actually gave him a pistol.
No, for sure. That was just his gun for certain.
Yeah. So the boss just expected him to go in there and like strangle him, I guess. It didn't matter to Morgan Freeman because Goodkat was going to come in and clean up anyway. So really, you know, who cares? But yeah, but either way. So Slevin murders the son, and then you have this really tense moment or what's supposed to be, if you haven't already guessed the plot, of Goodkat walking up just like he said he would, and he pulls out the gun, and Slevin turns around and hears him. Or does he shoot first? I think he shoots the guy in the head first, and then
he shoots the rabbi's son in the head.
Yeah. So then Slevin turns around, and there's not even like they don't even give you like a little mystery to this. Like they don't even try and play this off. So, Goodkat shoots the kid in the head, and Slevin turns around and goes, "Oh shit, you're here." Okay, and that's it. There's no more like the veil has been just lifted, Band-Aid completely ripped off at this point. There's no secrets anymore. They don't even.
I kind of appreciate that though. To be perfectly honest, like I don't want like a fucking 30-40 second montage of like rerunning scenes that could have like explained this. I mean, maybe if they like played into it a little bit harder throughout the movie, but these two characters have not met. Like at any point. Well, okay, there was the one time in the quote-unquote boss's like room or whatever, like right before Slevin fucked off to start talking to Lucy Liu about, you know, what he's going to be doing soon. But other than that, like these two characters have not interacted. I feel like if you're going to have a payoff sequence or a payoff scene where you don't just rip the Band-Aid off, there needs to be like a moment for the audience to be like, oh, now I get it. Like since they know amongst each other and like they're not like around anyone that fucking matters, they're just like, all right, business as usual, like fucking move on. And then it's up to the audience to keep up. And I'm like, great, I'm keeping up. I already knew this. So let's just fucking move on.
I've been here for 45 minutes.
Yeah, like I've been here for 45 minutes. Let's fucking go, baby.
Yeah, that is fair. I just think, you know, I think that if they're going to try and play this up and act like this wasn't predictable from the beginning, then, you know, maybe you ham it a little bit, but whatever. I'm in the same boat. I think I'm mostly playing devil's advocate. I think it's fine that they do it this way. I'm just saying, like, if they want to really preserve this at least a little bit, then whatever. So we have this scene, and then Bruce Willis is just out of like fuck it energy. He goes, you know what, I realized that the bodyguards are right on the other side of this wall. I'm going to press this here little button, and I'm just gonna murder him for the fuck of it because I feel like it.
What the fuck was that even about? Bruce Willis is just like, you know what? I haven't killed enough today. I want to kill these two guys.
Yeah, all I got to do was Zombieland rules. Always go for the head. This one kid who was already going to die anyway. Yeah, I need more murder in my life. Yeah, because they were going to die anyway. They set up a fucking bomb in there, so.
Yeah, they did.
Those two dudes were going to die anyway. He was just like, I'm just going to murder them because I feel like it. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then from this point, all hell breaks loose. Slevin, let's cut to it. They capture the rabbi. They pretend to have his money, and then they take him upstairs to the original boss's room, Morgan Freeman. They have him back to back, and then Slevin unloads. He lets him know. He's like,
the rabbi has this really like internal, well, like very. What do I say? Like reflective moment too, where he's talking about. The rabbi does this a couple of times where he uses a lot of like metaphor and imagery to kind of describe what he's saying. Because I don't know if that's still like the rabbi, the actual rabbi part of him side going on where he's giving sermons, but he has this like really deep kind of monologue about how, this room looks so familiar. No, but in the way, like, not that I necessarily have been here a long time. It's that like driving, like being in your own car when someone else is driving. I'm like, what? Why what is going on? Why do we have to have this moment? Like I get that they're long lost rivals or turned rivals from once friends, but I don't know, just like it almost took me out of the moment how the rabbi was like, oh man, I haven't been here in a while. And then he also, they have that moment where he's like, I don't know. And also, I haven't touched grass in 20 years. I haven't been on the inside of a car in 20 years. Like, oh, yeah, that's also true.
That is also true. So, yeah, they get these guys back to back. And then Morgan Freeman's like, by the way, your kid's dead. And then Ben Kingsley's like, you son of a bitch. And Morgan Freeman's like, ha ha. And then that's when Slevin comes in and goes like, actually, ha ha to the both of you. I'm going to kill you both. And they're like, oh, well, can we pay you? And Slevin's like, nah. Not going to happen. And then he does. That's pretty much it. That's honestly it. Like he kills them both, and we don't dwell on it. We don't waste any more time on it. The only other thing is that this is when we cut to the old police officer guy who is getting the story of the other story of what happened to this guy who bet on a horse, whatever. Slevin's true backstory. Who that cop at one point we were told that he was on the books for one of the bad guys earlier in the movie.
What a thing to just drop, by the way, because he tells that to not Slevin or some other person involved in crime. He tells it to Lindsay at the morgue. Yeah. He's just like, he's looking down at the body of this bookie who has clearly been doing illegal shit and goes, I used to work for this guy 20 years ago. And Lindsay just goes, huh? And
honestly, it's a great drop. It's a great drop. I love when movies do shit like that.
I mean, yeah, but in a literal sense.
What we have now? You know what we have? Okay, yeah, in a literal sense, like, that's fucking wild. Like, why the fuck are you talking about this? Like, is that why you were fired? Were you fired at your previous job?
Like if somebody came up to me and was like, yeah, I used to murder people for not paying debts 20 years ago, and I go, but that's not me now. And I'm like, I'm not sure that it's not. That sort of thing kind of sticks with you usually.
Yeah.
And he's just casually telling it to the woman who works at the morgue. Like what?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a little wild. But we kill both bosses. We kill the cop guy who was fucking crooked, and we also kill Lindsay. Good, R.I.P. Lindsay. Except we don't.
Actually, though, can I just rewind a little to, like, how do you feel about specifically the way they do this? Like, we're gonna rewind this is how we did this thing, and then also, I mean, they have to give you the what's Slevin's importance part to it. So all of this like backstory, flashback within flashback stuff. Like, do you enjoy this style of like storytelling, or is this sort of a take it or leave it kind of thing for you?
I think in a vacuum, I like this style more than I hate it. This feels like, this is like that formula that you get with like an Ocean's movie, right? Where eventually you have to like relive the real plan through the eyes of like the people playing the plan out, because like they're giving the audience and the villains a select window into, what's really happening. And then only later that will the audience become aware of like the real plan that happened and like what the protagonists were really doing behind the scenes. I think in general, I like it more than I hate it. I didn't hate it in this movie, and I can't think of an example that I was like, wow, I can't wait to just like spend 30 minutes like relive. I think that'd be the only time I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't want to relive like an entire movie just watching the same thing but from a different perspective. But watching like select scenes for like 2 minutes so I can be like, oh yeah, that's what they were doing. Yeah, like I want context for sure.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think the part of the reason that I'm asking you is that when I was reading Letterboxd reviews, people didn't really like this.
What? Wait, are they like fucking Anime Brain where they just can't stand any flashback ever? Like, no flashbacks. I don't want any additional context. No character development. Fuck you, Bellamy. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, hold on now. Let's not.
I'm just saying. I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm not bringing anyone specific. I'm not bringing anyone specific is all I'm saying.
Right. No, I mean, you do reference that you don't want to relive this an entire movie, but the back like 30 minutes of this movie is basically that. Maybe a little less. It's like 20-ish minutes.
I feel like maybe 20 minutes is aggressive. You get all of the past scenes play out in like a 10-minute stint for sure. If you put them all together, it's like 10 minutes, no shot.
I mean, from the start of when they start explaining it, it's like 20 minutes. Like when they start off with how they get the bookies killed up until the end of the movie. It's like the last 20 minutes of the movie basically.
Well, we don't get it till the last 20, but I mean, the movie also plays in that 20 minutes. What I mean, we don't get 20 minutes straight of just reliving the movie. I don't feel like we get like maybe 10-minute reshoots with like but it happens over the course of a 20-minute period at the end of the movie. I feel like, or am I wild?
I don't know. I feel like most of that last 20 minutes is very. Sure, you have the moments in between where Slevin is poking fun at the two crime bosses, but yeah, I think more than half of it, like you're posing, is probably this backstory.
I don't know. I feel like it went by quickly. So I would say I was still a fan. Was not that big of a hater of it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it too. I was just curious because, like I said, I saw a lot of Letterboxd reviews that were like, this is dumb.
This is stupid. This is where the guy who made the movie failed. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think, but also by the same token, a lot of Letterboxd reviews, especially the positive ones, were like, "Oh man, crazy twists! So many twists at the end." I was like, "There's twists are wild," and I was like,
Wait, was there?
They're twists by definition, but they were predictable. And you probably should have seen this coming, guys. I was like, whatever. I'm not knocking the movie for it necessarily. The movie is fun for me, despite knowing basically most plot points by the end of it before they happen. But
yes,
I had fun anyway. So what's the difference then?
Totally agree. And best part of the movie was when they faked killing my favorite girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when she shows up back again, I'm like, yeah, Lindsay, let's go.
and then they do this bit where like Bruce Willis was like he's there again, and like they're like scared because they faked her death for Bruce Willis's sake, because Bruce Willis was like, she took a picture of my face, like I gotta kill her, and so they offed her, and then they get back together at the end. They fake her death because he's like, okay, Lucy, this is what's going to happen. He's going to try to fucking kill you. Wear a bulletproof vest, put a bag of blood right here. It's going to hurt, but you're going to be okay. And she does all those things. They get to the train station where they killed Nick, by the way. And then Bruce Willis is just there menacingly. And he's like, Slevin's like, I didn't think you'd understand. And then Bruce Willis like runs back the scene of like not killing young Slevin here. And he's like, I understand, kid. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the whole movie. I don't know. It was a great popcorn flick. I think I had a good time. I had a great time, actually.
I agree. I had a lot of fun, more than I think or I shouldn't even say I think, more than I thought I would. And you know, I'm glad for that because I enjoy watching movies that I like. So
I also enjoy watching movies.
I have this like inkling that we're like bragging about having guessed basically every plot point, but people are going to be like, how did you not see they're going to fake Lucy Liu's death coming? Like that's like textbook. I'm like, whatever.
Listen. I mean, I wanted to believe in it, but like, I actually thought that this movie was going to be just hard enough to where that was going to be the one thing that was going to be the one not happy ending in this entire movie. That's where I thought it was going to go. This is gonna be the one thing that they weren't gonna have be a happy ending.
Yeah, I think I just bought into some slight emotional weight then, rather as opposed to whatever Slevin's backstory was gonna end up being.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to buy into that. Maybe there was a little part of me that wanted to accept that this movie would do something that I wouldn't see coming, but you know,
curb your expectations a little bit. But hey, you know, Christian. Speaking of buy-in,
is that the segue?
I feel like it might be the same. I mean, before I move into the true segue, is there any other like or dying comments you want to bring out to the table?
I don't really think so. I think I've got just about everything off my chest that I really wanted to.
So speaking of buying, anyway, moving on to the next segment of the show. You know me, I love talking about box office numbers and budgets. Christian, hey, how's it going? As our resident best guesser, Unfortunately, it is not a very wide cast title, so you are the only one in the running. As our best guesser for budgetary film numbers, what do you think this movie had as a budget? I mean, let's break everything down. So we have a 2006 film. It's definitely very very lock stock, very Snatch-esque. I do think that this is a Guy Ritchie. This is a Guy Ritchie light film. This would be included in a catalog of Guy Ritchie and Guy Ritchie adjacent films, beyond a shadow of a doubt. So I think that using their numbers is a good idea, and it would benefit you. We have a lot of very well-known actors in this film: Lucy Liu, Bruce Willis, Mr. Kingsley. We also have Morgan Freeman. So I don't know. Maybe do we have Stanley Tucci? Do they bring in enough of a budgetary inflation that you need to be cognizant of it? I don't know. So, Christian, my question to you, what do you think the budget of this 2006 hit was?
I think trying to equate that, it may feel like a Guy Ritchie movie, but this movie has way more than Guy Ritchie budget, for sure.
You think so? Okay.
I think absolutely. They made Lock, Stock for like $1 million, and Snatch was like only a couple more million, I think. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but they made those movies for dirt cheap.
I wish we did like The Gentleman or something, so that you could have like a present Guy Ritchie film to like compare this to, because I feel like that would help you with your budgetary comparisons a little bit. But
maybe, but I think what you did hit the nail on the head with is that all of these larger names definitely increased the budget of this film. I mean, especially people like Bruce Willis and Morgan Freeman. Lucy Liu, I don't know how deep in her career she is at this point, really, but
I think this is like in the height of her career, just before she fell off after Charlie's Angels, I feel like.
Okay, yeah, that would definitely play into how much she gets made for this movie. So I'm thinking like, I mean, it's double digit millions here. We're talking. Okay. And I'm gonna throw a funny curveball in there and think, oh well, what if they threw a number 7 in to their budget for the ha-has?
Okay.
And I think it probably didn't go off for a whole lot of money, relatively anyway. Again, much more than Guy Ritchie. So I think my guess here is going to be, I'll do $27 million.
So okay, I just want to recap. Your impression is it's going to be double-digit millions, decently high budget due to cast members, and you want to put a 7 in it because
Slevin. Yeah.
Is that, I have all of that put down on paper?
Yeah. That sounds like a good, accurate summary.
All right. Well, Christian, I have some news for you. In a cast first, you fucking nailed it to the dollar. Hello, Christian?
I have some news for you, Brendan.
Did you cheat? Did you cheat?
I didn't do it on purpose.
Oh, you fucking cheater! How dare you! How dare you! Oh my God! When you were silent, I thought that something happened. I was like, "Oh man, you are so quiet for a man that did the impossible."
Oh, I'm so sorry, Brendan. For whatever
you
reason,
side-eyed the budget by accident on the site that you were on.
No, it's worse. I just got straight up spoiled by IMDb for me. I was in the trivia section looking for fun facts, and apparently scrolling too far down gave me a trivia of filmed with a budget of $27 million.
You hate to see it.
Across all of the movies we've done, I have never seen them mention the budget in the trivia section.
Well,
So
sometimes you gotta be ready for it. Gotta be wary.
I guess apparently I do. I need to look up my fun facts on a different fucking website now or something. I don't know. But
well, can I ask you a question? But are you willing to be honest with me? Do you know box office numbers?
I do not know the box office number.
Okay, all right. So at least we can do the other half of this. You really let me just kind of hammer on for no fucking reason when you already knew the punchline. That's kind of rude, actually.
I was playing it up, I thought it was great, actually. I thought I did a great job. I mean, you did do a great job. Especially the Slevin in the budget thing. That was I think that was top notch.
Oh my fucking god. All right. So all right, well, Christian, you did nail it, whether you meant to or not. It was 27 million on the dot. Incredible. Now let's move on to my second favorite question of the night. What do you think it made at the box office? And let's keep reminding the folks at home. Slam dunk for a movie is like double the budget. That'll pay for everything and then start getting it some profit. Pay for all the marketing and whatnot. If you can 3 or even 4 times the budget, that's fucking we want to make a sequel like yesterday sort of territory. What do you think a movie like this made?
So I have a sneaking suspicion that this movie didn't make money, and part of that is also kind of related to Letterboxd reviews, because despite Guy Ritchie, much even at the time of making like Lock, Stock and Snatch, much more known filmmaker than this guy is. So I think this movie went under the radar of a lot of people. And looking at Letterboxd reviews, there are much less people having watched the movie, because you can just report like that you watched it and not necessarily give a review. But also just, based off all the metrics between him, I think this movie just did not get seen by enough people or a lot of people. So
okay.
I'm a little conflicted. I don't know if I want to guess under the budget, like it was that tanked
that bad.
I don't think it tanked that badly. But I definitely don't think it made it. Obviously, didn't make enough to like warrant any sort of sequel. Not that this really had room for one, but I'm gonna guess broadly like $34 million.
$34 million. All right. Well, let's. So that would be it made its budget plus like marketing costs maybe, and then like they made no official money on this movie. So this was just like a wash.
Well, like having made money or having like been decent, it would have needed to have made like 50 some odd million dollars. You just double, like you said, you just double it and you go 54 million, and like then you've like been relatively successful with it. I don't think they hit that number.
All right. Well, let's remind the folks at home that this is, of course, a 2006 movie. Came out April 7th, 2006. Great day of an incredible month. Christian, there was a time.
Mm-hmm.
We were a society.
Okay.
I happen to know something that you don't know.
Oh?
There was a crowd campaign to make sure that this movie made all 7s at the box office. Christian,
all 7?
The box office numbers of this movie at the box office was 77 million.
No fucking way.
$77.7 million flat.
Oh my god, really?
No, I lied to you.
Oh, that would have been so fucking good.
Since you lied to me, I wanted to lie to you.
Oh, that would have been so. All right, you got me.
All right, fair enough. All right, no, the actual box office was 56.3.
Oh, so they did barely double it.
They did barely double it. I do think they did. So back to they would need to make 50 some odd million. They made exactly 50 some odd million. Yeah. See, how does it feel to be fucking ridiculed?
I don't feel ridiculed. That was great. I'm in awe. I'm in awe. It was awesome. I had a great time.
I tried to prop up a pretend ad campaign where it was like, make sure that lucky number Slevin doesn't take home more than $77 million at the box office. Go see it today.
That's just meme enough for the internet. This is a little, unfortunately, if I had thought it through and not just lived in the moment, it would have been like, oh, well, this is 2000. This is 2006. Back in my day, I'm like, the internet basically didn't fucking exist in 2006. Nobody would have been able to actually organize this well enough. If this was today, if you said that today, then I'd believe it like I'd believe it going forward no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. Okay, yeah, I would not have. I think if you had told me like bump your number up, I don't think I would have broken 50. I think I probably would have said like max 45 mil or something to that effect. I would not have guessed that they doubled their money on this.
I think this is a classic, tax write-off if it didn't make a crap ton of money. But the world has it nonetheless, and that's great. We love that for us.
Yeah,
good flick. All right, that's it. That's all I have for you, Christian.
Sweet. That means it's my turn, and we've mentioned Letterboxd a lot, so
oh boy, here we fucking go.
Here we go with this.
I'm kind of scared. Are there like mostly bad reviews of this in Letterboxd?
So without giving anything away necessarily, broadly speaking, from what I remember, a lot, we keep making this Guy Ritchie comparison. A lot of people also in the Letterboxd reviews are they're specifically calling it Guy Ritchie meets Tarantino, which I don't think I agree with calling it with throwing Tarantino into the mix really, but because you can kind of just say Guy Ritchie plus any action or like noir film, but I don't know. Mm-hmm. But broadly speaking, from what I remember, lower generally reviewed than Snatch or Lock, Stock or probably any other Guy Ritchie movie really. So yeah, I think you'll be a little surprised by some of the reviews in general. I'll start with the not highest rated, the most liked one, which is a very low number. This is the most liked review. It only had 249 reviews. People do not watch this movie. Okay. Like these days anyway. This review is from 2020. I don't know how far back the reviews go on Letterboxd, probably since the beginning of it. But either way, Lucky Number Slevin is a Tarantino and Guy Ritchie wannabe film. It isn't as clever or smart as it thinks. You can predict the twist halfway through its storytelling, but it's a slick, entertaining movie. It got solid cast, including Bruce Willis, Morgan Freeman, Ben Kingsley, and Stanley Tucci. Josh Hartnett makes a surprisingly great lead. Loved his chemistry with Lucy Liu.
I feel like that's got to be a certified 4 out of 5.
You would be incorrect by that assumption. That is a 3-star review.
Oh, okay, fine. I mean, he talked it up a little bit. I mean, am I crazy? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they just hung themselves up on the not clever or smart. You can predict all the twists thing, and just was like,
but they've spent 2/3 of the review talking it up. Like, what the? All right, I'm not.
I got nothing for you, buddy.
All right, give me the next one.
Drop all the crime stuff. Make it a romantic comedy with Josh Hartnett and Lucy Liu, and you've got an okay movie.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with all that. I mean, I do. I am here for Josh Hartnett and Lucy Liu. Fucking. Comedy drama or comedy rom-com. Thank you. Sorry, but that's the genre. Shit. I guess that's got to be a 2 out of 5, right?
That is right.
Yes, I did it. I found the line.
Right. Yeah, 2 out of 5. This person did not enjoy the movie. They just wanted Josh Hartnett and Lucy Liu, and even then, it wouldn't have even been that good. They would have only called it an okay movie after that.
Yeah, like holy shit, dude, man, fucking rape him over the coals, why don't you? Fuck, jeez.
Yeah, they really tried to take him to the cleaners on this one. So at any rate, I'm gonna read probably the longer one. Yeah, okay. I've got a longer one here for you. Not too much longer than that first one, but
let's do it.
I digress. And I don't even know what this means. I probably should have looked up what this word means. A tawdry emulation. I assume it just means like shitty. A tawdry emulation of the Tarantino Ritchie crime movies of the 90s that is so smug and proud of itself that it's hard not to hate it. It has a great cast that it mostly wasted. It has good photography, but there is an air of cheapness that flows through it. Maybe it's the unconvincing period scene at the front of the film. Maybe it's the set design that is 90% loud wallpaper. Maybe it's the fact that this is set in a weird version of NYC where everyone's past intersects in some fashion. It makes one of the world's megacities feel smaller than my elementary school. At any rate, it's predictable, which is a death sentence for a movie as plotty as this. It's somewhat infuriating that the last 15 minutes are devoted to a how they did it sequence when I am fairly certain most who watch this will already know the answers.
Wow. That's just like a full-on fucking yikes. is this the first? Can I ask a question before I answer?
Go on.
Can you vote 0 out of 5 on this platform?
So you can. I don't know that it would necessarily really count as a 0 out of 5. I have seen people just say that they rewatched it or that they watched it, and I just assume that they are not giving star ratings because I've read reviews that don't have stars, but they are generally positive. They just decided not to rate it. So I would say that realistically, if you're like giving a rating, the lowest rating is a half star.
I think this is going to be my first half star guess, I think, ever.
That is a very valid guess, but unfortunately, it's just barely wrong. This is a 1-star review.
Ah, man, I was gonna go with a 1 star, and then I'm like, nah, he hates it even more. This might be the first one.
Yeah, I don't know what gave him the extra half star that they were willing to give it to them, but or maybe they just didn't realize they could vote a half star. But either way.
Well, shit.
That is that. And I think I've read, I couldn't even tell you what movie it was for, but I'm pretty sure I've read a half star. God, burpee. I'm pretty sure I've read a half star review for something at some point. I feel like I remember doing that. But either way, I got 2 more reviews for you. And let's go with this one. This one juxtaposed against the long one that I just read. He is beauty, he is grace. Who are you talking about?
Oh,
that's the review. He is beauty, he is grace. 6 words. I have no idea which he they're talking about.
I see. Well, I assume they're talking about everyone's favorite Bruce Willis because that just happens to be where my first thought process goes towards. I love you, Bruce. I hope you're doing well. I know these days that you're not doing too hot with your condition, but power to you. Thank you for making great movies. I think that's a 4 out of 5. That's a 4 out of 5.
Close. Once again, half the star off once again.
You really let me sit on the edge of my seat on that one. I was like, you gonna say anything or
3.5 stars.
Oh man, fucking
yeah.
You put beauty and grace in your review and you only gave it a fucking 3.5. What the hell, man?
Yeah, it was the whole 3.5 stars was just for whoever he is, I guess.
Yeah, right. Whatever. Fucking stupid.
So this last review was a slight act of desperation that I haven't had to resort to in a while, where instead of just reading the most liked ones, because those usually produce the funnier ones or the most worth reading, I just straight up went to some of the more recent reviews on the movie instead to see if anyone had watched it in the last couple of days and had felt a funny bone in their body. And someone did. And although funny might not be the word, horny might be the right word. And also this is translated from Russian. So
okay.
So this Russian reviewer writes, "The simple female desire to be the towel hanging around Josh Hartnett's waist in this movie."
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I feel like, okay, so a review like this, let's break this down into its primary components. We're clearly praising it. We are clearly putting it in an air of positivity. However, it's also sexualizing.
Correct.
But it's sexualizing on behalf of women for a change. But I almost feel like that by sexualizing on behalf of women, from a man, it's probably a lower review because men are shit. So okay. I think this is a 3 out of 5.
Wow, you're so wrong.
No,
you're so wrong. This is 5 stars.
No.
Oh yeah, she wanted all of Josh Hartnett for this thing.
Oh, I assumed that the reviewer was a man in this.
No. Judging by the profile picture, unless they're catfishing everyone on Letterboxd, that's a female. So,
well, sometimes you just,
which I guess that's more context that I get that you don't. But even still,
if I would have known that, I would have known it was a 5 out of 5.
Is that right? I don't.
I'm just saying. I only assumed it was what it was because I thought a man was giving the review.
Wow. Do you hear that, everybody? Brendan doesn't think women can give good Letterboxd reviews.
No, I'm saying my impression of the rating changes depending on gender.
It said the simple female desire.
Right. I assume it's a man pretending to know what the simple female desire is.
I don't know, Brendan. That feels like a bit of a stretch.
I'm just saying, man. Whatever. I don't need to explain myself anymore to you. I did what I said. What I said.
Yeah, you did. we all do be saying.
All right.
I'm just gonna spit out what I maybe should have mentioned this earlier, but I remembered it because I scrolled back up on my notes pad here. You remember the line that Lucy Liu's character has about Columbo and the like 3 things about a crime scene? Do you remember this? Like in their first interaction where she thinks Nick is dead and it's just kind of out of nowhere. She's like, oh, when talking about, and they're sitting next to the phone and then the phone rings.
Yes.
And she's talking about Columbo. Yeah, apparently Columbo never said that shit. They just made that up.
Oh.
Yeah, like in the entire TV run of Columbo and everything else, like he just never said anything similar to that ever. They just made that up for the movie and called it fact.
I believed it, so that's it did its job.
Sure, yeah, and it had all that plot relevance.
It had all of that plot relevance. Oh, jeez, this is a good flick. I had a good time.
Yeah, I was here for it. I was here for it the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right, well, did we make it to the end?
We made it.
Who wants to do the thing?
I don't know. Do you want to do it?
If you like what you heard this evening, you can follow us on Twitter at Panda Sightings. You can also send us email at pandasightings@gmail.com. You can also, if you want to talk to us a little bit more directly, we have a Discord. It is 18 plus. You can join that using our link tree. It is in our Spotify or in our the description wherever you listen to our podcast stuff. Feel free to rate us. Feel free to do whatever. Feel free to leave us comments. We read them. We read all comments on every platform. We also have a Redbubble where you can get any merch from us. Most of it's Panda Sightings. Most of it's One Piece with a Lime, our One Piece podcast. So if you're here, you probably know something about it. We should really get on the not One Piece with a Lime stuff at some point in the future.
Yeah, we'll put the Panda View logo up on there one day.
Yeah. And this movie was made possible by our producer tier patrons. This one in particular was Taco, but we also have 2 other producers by the names of Rin and Twigo. We love you guys. You're the best. Yeah. What else? What else do I think that's
really
it. Do I need to say
you did
else? My God. I still sort of flubbed it, but that's okay.
That's fine. Each thing has its unique charm based on who does it and what they're feeling that day. So
yeah, exactly.
That's why we don't script it. But all right. Thank you for joining me for another movie this week, Brendan. I appreciate you greatly.
I appreciate you, man.
And hey, not a musical or even musical adjacent.
I'm just saying, I feel like we're due, is all I'm getting at.
Are we? I feel like we're finally escaping it.
I feel like we're a little due. I think maybe, I'm not asking for anything in particular, but
it kind of sounds like you are.
Producer tier slide us another musical one of these days.
Well, you better get Rin on it to give us actual movie reviews instead of letting me do it, because if she lets me do it every month, then there's no way I'm touching an extra musical if I can help it.
Why are you doing it? Why can't I do it? What if I pick a musical?
Because I'm the guy. I run this show now.
That is kind of true.
I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of run the show now.
That is true. That is very, very true. I'm not taking that thunder from you. I know this all too well. All right. Well, whatever. But if we want to do a musical again, I'm just saying.
I definitely don't. So you're going to have to try a little harder than plead with me. I'm not the one you should be pleading with.
I feel like if I just go like, hey, guys, we should do a musical, I can get all of them to come in line. We'll do 3 musicals in a row.
I believe that and I hate it. But, I'll hold out hope that at least Taco will be like, I'll just keep on the Guy Ritchie-esque train or the Bruce Willis train or the Jason Statham train.
Nah, bro, we're gonna do Hair because it has the greatest twist of all time that made Taco go like, okay, this movie's amazing.
Oh, I heard about that. Not the twist, but that Taco really liked that movie for some reason.
He hated it until the twist. He was like, honestly, this is not that good.
Oh,
Which
shit.
that is also kind of my opinion. The music is good, The plot itself is a little like here and there. And then you get to the end and you're just like, wow, incredible.
Was it all a dream sequence or something that lost you guys?
It's hard to describe without just giving it away entirely.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I think we're done here. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.